Let me tell you a story about Mujina, the complex shape-shifting Japanese yokai. A man walking at night finds a woman sobbing by the side of the road. When she finally turns around, the man realizes, horrified, that she is a Mujina, a supernatural being with no face, scaring him half to death. Yet in another story, Mujina is a helpful character, protecting a huntsman who shared a meal with it from thieves by shape-shifting into a fierce wrestler. Part positive cultural icon, part menace, Mujina was inspired in part by a real-life species in Japan, the Tanuki, also known as the raccoon dog. And while there's nothing supernatural about real-life raccoon dogs, their current biological story in Japan is just as complex as the myths. My doctoral research makes the leap from myth to reality in studying the effects of invasive Tanuki populations on 2 UNESCO protected islands in Japan. While native to the Japanese mainland, Tanuki were introduced to Yakushima in the 1980s and Chiburjima in the 1940s. Their impacts on native wildlife here remain largely understudied, despite evidence from invasive Tanuki populations in Europe that their presence can be very harmful to native species. No, they can't shapeshift, but Tanuki do have an interesting behavior. They're latrine formers, meaning they defecate in specific areas, making their feces easy to find and collect over time. With financial support I was awarded from UNESCO and the Explorers Club, I have been studying data I have collected from latrines to answer the following questions. First, are Tanuki eating endangered sea turtle eggs or hatchlings? Yakushima Tanuki are often seen around Inakahama, the largest remaining nesting site for loggerhead sea turtles in the northern hemisphere. By identifying if Tanuki feces contain turtle DNA, I could be the first to confirm Tanuki sea turtle predation and estimate the frequency of that predation. Secondly, are native species and livestock interacting with latrines and ingesting parasites? Using camera traps at latrine sites, I'm analyzing interactions between other mammal species and the latrines. And third and finally, are Tanuki latrines artificially supporting dung beetle populations? My preliminary results from Yakushima indicate that there is a higher diversity of dung beetles on Tanuki feces than on native macaque feces. And from previous studies, we know they harbor 2 species of worm parasites, which can infect native species. So more latrines may mean more beetles, which may mean more parasites. Understanding how invasive Tanuki might be impacting their environment is the critical first step to creating effective conservation strategies on these sensitive islands.